Hey, so I got Sada and Chelsea here. We're doing this ride out. They're the first ones to actually come out after I come out of Hell's Canyon, which is really nice to see them. Only I wish Alex was here. I love that boy. And what we wanted to do is talk to the beginners, people just starting out into this thing, and how things have evolved. What I find is that when people come out here, there's a whole split consciousness. You know, you could call it an unconscious mind acting one way while consciously they're trying to be something else. But there's a conflict within each person that comes out here, and its manifestation, this conflict, this internal conflict of how they feel and stuff about the hoop, starts to manifest immediately. And it's changed a little bit over time, and our understanding has grown with it, because this is a brand new process for us to open a bundle. And as we open the bundle, you all come in, you want to get a picture. You know, of course, you want to know what I'm about. You want to know, you know, what a tricky coyote might do for you, or scare you, or whatever. And I'm getting a picture too, and I want to share with that picture that I've been getting, because you get a picture, I'm getting a picture. And that picture for the newbies is that at first, it's just like that coyote story. When I come in to open this bundle, it's kind of like coyote going into the swallowing monster. The first two that he meets is rattlesnake and bear, and they're going to be oppositional. And I met a lot of that just to begin to open this bundle. And now, it's not that that's the predominance of my experience, but still it's the predominance of the experience of the newbie to have that a part of the conflict that they have in their heads as they come into this thought. You know, there's a part of them that'd like to see themselves fail in this, so they'd have every excuse to go back to the drunk that was ruined by the realization that there was this. And so one of their first responses is kind of self-defensive for the position that they found themselves living in all their lives. This is natural. And they get into a defensive mode that wants to manifest in kind of a self-defeat. It's an unconscious, continual habit of self-defeat. Now, there's all kinds of ways to do this, and there's many manifestations of it, but if you're going to cook it down to a single thing, basically, I try to talk plain to you kids. I ruined your drunk with the presentation of a hoop and a root, and a lot of you just coming in trying to get your drunk back. And if you got to prove yourself a failure out here to do that, then that's what you do. Problem is, as you go about doing that, you know, people who are out here trying to do this work, they're going to feel the brunt of your deliberate failures, your constant, unconscious, but very deliberate habit of failure. And you're not going to be able to face that yourselves, because, you know, it's a part of this double-minded condition I'm talking to you about. Where part of you wants to embrace it, but a part of you is scared of it and like to see it go away so you can go back to your happy drunk somewhere. Now, that's the truth. Now, what happens is it's going to boil over on people, you know, because your failures are going to become mine. You know, if you're sitting in my tent with me going through your cycles of failures, well, you might be bumping that tent constantly, and pretty soon we're going to have a leaky spot all over the place. I mean, you're going to create these places of discomfort for yourself that are going to include me, my animals, and everything that I have out here. The learning curve of coming out here to learn how to do a biscuit route, when your intention partly is shadowed by an intention for your failure, so you have an excuse to go back. You know, that learning curve, the biscuits themselves could suffer, because you're going to deliberately and intentionally do things in a wrong way, in a bad way, just so that you can see that well, it's bad for me to be out there. You know, the plants don't like me, or it doesn't, you know, I'm not good for the plants. And I see people develop that scenario, that story, and that's what they're out here to do. And so you got to measure yourself, actually, if you're a newbie. You got to look at what it is to just, you know, set dominion aside and just embrace the new way that you don't know anything of. Be a child again. Be teachable. This is what you want to do to work past this resistance. Become a child again. Become teachable. Quit resisting. You know, somebody says, leave your holes open. You know, you throw some rocks back in there if it's a real big deep one, but leave it jagged and kind of open so the seeds can find a place into the ground. You see what I'm saying? Because the rest of it kind of gets a glaze, and where you've been digging, it opens up the ground a little bit. Well, leave it that way. Don't make it all patted down flat, like say. But somebody can tell you that, but you'd find resistance to it. I mean, to help with this process, the newbie, I think, should try to learn to receive and drop some of those resistances. I've discovered that, watching myself even, that I had to start keying on my resistances to go the other way, to not go with that resistance, but to embrace the thing I was resisting. I had to learn the key to do that, because I had a habit of resisting the truth, and I think we all do. I think I'm not particularly unique in that we resist the truth, we resist change, we resist learning. You know, we want to think because I'm older now that I'm masters of the universe, I got it, I don't need to be shown. There's all these kinds of attitudes that come in that interfere with people's ability to really pick up a good thing in a good way. And the reason why I'm talking about it is because I do care enough to address it. It's a tough issue. It's stepping over the threshold. It's stepping over the line to describe this thing to you even. We're not supposed to talk about it. That's not polite, I'm sure. But because I care for you and I care for your ability to go forward in this thing in a good way, I'd ask you to slow down a little bit, key on your resistances, and learn to embrace what you're resisting. Because you got to maybe face the fact that, you know, we're a little bit double-minded as we approach this thing. It'd be natural. So we want to get past that double-minded and purify our intention in a good planting back way. I'm asking everybody not to come out here and learn how to be some stick Indian that can live all wild. I mean, that could be an eventual goal for a lot of people, and that's a good thing. But what I'm actually looking for is to promote what I've been doing, which is giving this thing a life by whatever means possible. The longer you can stay out here, I'm not against anything. I'm trying to be for a vision of planting back, and if I can use a Walmart phone to get that done, I don't want to be against loggers, miners, ranchers, or anything. I want to be for this thing and use whatever is in my world that I was born in to turn that into hoop, and therefore I don't want to be in my own way with some false moralities and things that, you know, giving me a sense of separation from that thing while I lived in Civ. I found a greater thing in planting back. I don't have to do that. I can be free to use those things, and I'd like for you kids to get beyond those things and be free to use these things and not condemn yourself for what you approve of. You know, hell, bring me a hamburger right from McDonald's. You know, I don't care. I'll turn it into hoop. And I want you guys to have that freedom. But to engage that, you got to kind of get beyond our double-mindedness and purify our intention. And the more gardens you get planted out here, the more purified your intention gets in this. And those gardens will speak to you about how beautiful you are, that you've planted this. When they're blooming and you're looking at that, they'll tell you, oh, this is the stuff. You're beautiful too. Now, walk with that rather than being against stuff. Let's be for something that allows us to have this stuff without a defiled conscience. Because you know your intention as a hoopster and trying to do this is to make these gardens bigger and turn more of the landscape into hoop and move this stuff around and plant it where it isn't, so when you go back you know that's your planting. And let that speak to you that this is a beautiful thing that you are, and then be free to use whatever it takes to come out here and do that. That's where I would like to get you. That's why we're having this conversation. This ain't to put people down. We all come in. I tell you what, we're all coming in double-minded like this. We're all coming in. Half of your mind wants to kill this thing and succeed, and the other part wants to kill this thing and succeed. You know what I'm saying? You're all screwed up this way. And so you come in with this habit of unconscious habit that you need to break. Get conscious around this, of self-defeat. You come out here doing the self-defeating games, looking for a self-defeating victim story rather than a chance to actually get out here and do some good and planting back. So let's get purified in our intention. And let's get to this work. It's a great joy to have these smiling flowers telling you this is who you are too. And let's join each other in a good thing. I'm supposing the closer that we draw towards a common goal, I'm learning to do this thing well too. I'm asking you to learn to do this thing well with me, and as we get closer to doing this thing well, the closer we can get together. And that's how we're going to find each other, by growing closer to a common goal. And so let's just get out here and start planning. Let's get out here and meet each other, and let's have some fun. And my intention is to learn how to do this planting back and living in this thing well, and in that way we're all equals. We're all learning that. And let's keep that our intention. And let's turn all of Babylon that we touch into that intention, and let's feel good about what we did. Let's be happy about what we touched. Let's be happy about every little device we've used, even this camera, to talk to you. Let's get over that. Let's not be double-minded, condemning what we're approving. And I found I can do that out here planting back, having my intention, the returning of this life way. Like I tell everybody, that I want to repent of my ancestors' traditions. I want to become that Indian that they killed, and I want to plant back what they plowed out. And whatever it takes to do that, I think is a good thing. You know, so, hell, let's do it. And God love you. Bring your toys out and bring some nani. Granny likes to smoke. So, help kill Granny. Love you. See you later.